بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Alhamdulillah, we have tawfiq to continue our study of practical method of self-purification by the late Ayatollah Shujai Rahmatullah alayh. This is our fifth session on fikr. We talked about significance of fikr, thinking and contemplation. Then we talked about what we should not think about. And then we started talking about things that we need to think about. Today, the topic is fikr dar haqiqat و سراب باطل. One of the things that we should keep thinking about is about reality and the fact that falsehood is presenting itself to draw our attention, but we should not fall in trap. So Ayatollah Shujai says some of the verses of the Quran invite us to think about this point. For example, in Surah Ar-Rum, chapter the Romans, verses 7 and 8, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يعلمون ظاهرا من الحياة الدنيا وهم عن الآخرة هم غافلون. They know the apparent aspect of worldly life, and with respect to the hereafter they are heedless. In some places, we have explained that this shows that akhirah doesn't come after dunya. Akhirah is there at the same time that we are in dunya. Akhirah is there. Akhirah is deeper reality. It's an underlying level of reality. And if we were open in our eyes, we could see Akhirah right now. As the Quran says also, كَلَّا لَوْ تَعْلَمُونَ إِلْمَ الْيَقِينِ لَتَرَوُنَّ الْجَحِيمِ. So, يَعْلَمُونَ ظَاهِرًا مِنَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَهُمْ عَنِ الْآخِرَةِ هُمْ غَافِلُونَ. أَوَلَمْ يَتَفَكَّرُوا فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ. Haven't they thought in themselves? Sometimes you think just internally. If they think internally, they would realize that the creation of skies and the earth cannot be except بالحق. أَوَلَمْ يَتَفَكَّرُوا فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ ما خلق الله السماوات والأرض وما بينهما إلا بالحق وأجل مسمى. Allah has not created the earth and skies and whatever is between skies and the earth except بالحق, with observation of truth. وأجل مسمى, and there is a fixed deadline. وَإِنَّ كَثِيرًا مِنَ النَّاسِ بِلِقَاءِ رَبِّهِمْ لَكَافِرُونَ. Unfortunately, many people, they are not affirming the meeting with the Lord. This ayah is one of those ayat that we need to think about. We need to reflect. What is the nature of life in this dunya? And what is the deeper layer of life which connects us to the hereafter. How is this world created? Is it created in vain? Is it created without any purpose, without any wisdom or justice or truth? Or it is created bil-haq, with full observation of the truth? These are things that we need to think about. Then Ayatollah Shoja'i lists some of the things that if we contemplate about al-hayat al-dunya, the lower life, the worldly life, the near life, we would realize the life which comes after, which is now maybe hidden from us, is the main life. Zahir is not the main thing. The main thing is the core, the deeper layers. That is the main one. And standards and calculations over there are different. What matters there is different from what matters in this world. What has weight in that world, what has attraction in that world, what has pleasure in that world, is different from this world. Even the life itself is different, is not physical life. Our understanding in this world and understanding over there are different. So he says, ارزش‌ها, values, دیده‌ها, views, ارزیابی‌ها, evaluations, قضاوت‌ها, judgment, حساب‌ها و کتاب‌ها, accounting of dunya, all will go away. Either they become void or they become wrong calculations of dunya. Of course, even now, calculations of dunya are wrong. In this sense, that if you want to draw from worldly calculations what type of life you should have, it's wrong. Worldly calculations are to serve, not to give us the ideal of the life. Yes, it's good to know that, for example, if you do this or that, how much money you make. It's good to know. But this shouldn't give you the reason for living. That calculation doesn't work here. And if someone uses that calculation, for example, says, if you take usury or interest, you make not so much money every year, this much, in 10 years, this much, 20. Yes, these calculations mathematically are correct, but these calculations shouldn't give you direction that now you should go to that direction. Or you shouldn't think that barakah comes from this calculation. So, ارزش‌ها، دیده‌ها، ارزیابی‌ها، قضاوت‌ها و حساب‌ها و کتاب‌ها همه از میان برداشته می شود. Values, views, evaluations, judgments, accounting, all will be removed or become absurd. When we go into that world and experience that life, we would find, this is a very important statement, I hope we all give our attention with open heart. So maybe it's better if I stop, for a minute, just calm down and think about what we are going to say. The late Ayatollah Shoja'i says, if we experience that life, we would find that worldly life was like a sleeping, was like a dream, was like a khayal, like imagination. what people compete over it, even fight over it in dunya. Maybe we do the same to some extent. It's all imagination, is all false. Imagine if children play and someone, plays the role of king, someone plays the role of wazir, some, role of, soldiers. Some people play the role of ordinary people. What should the child who plays the role of the king feel? Should feel that he's really superior to others? It's a game. But maybe sometimes they feel that this is reality, and even they fight, on who becomes the king. Exactly the same kind of game can be found, or play can be found among adults. We shouldn't think because, for example, a king in the adult life has power, or has soldiers or money or army, has really become better. Who said if you have power you become better? Who said if you have money you become better? Who said if you have a weapon you become better? Is there any argument for that? Is there any proof for that? Many times you become even worse, not better. Yes, if you manage to maintain your humbleness, your values, your virtues, your justice, then you are not less now. And if you do it for the sake of Allah, then that's different. But I'm saying just having power, most of the time it makes you even a worse person, not a better person. It's a game. The same people after some time, they will put aside, they will lose power, they will lose popularity, or they become ill, they die. How many kings have been there? How many presidents have been there? How many ministers have been there? How many rich people have been there? It's just something temporary, some superficial. Just تلك الأيام نداولها بين الناس. These days come and go, sometimes up, sometimes down. It's a test. حیاتی که اگر در آن قرار بگیریم و از آن برخوردار شویم، حیات دنیوی خود را همانند خواب یا خیال خواهیم دانست. The life in the hereafter, or the real life, is the one that if we experience, we would find that worldly life was just like a dream, like an imagination. Everything will be changed. Our situation would be like this. گویی باطلی همه جا و همه چیز را فرا گرفته بود. Imagine, like for example, if there is fog, or if there is, heavy dust, you cannot see, everywhere is, dark and, clouded and, unclear. Yeah? You don't know who is 2 meters away, you don't know that there are opportunities or threats. The road is this way or that way. But when wind comes and takes away this fog or this dust, you see everything is clear, everything is fresh, everything is meaningful. How bad it is that when everything is, clouded or dusted and we cannot see anything, then we make long-term plans, long-term movements. We really give our heart to that. It's very bad. So he says we would find that everything is changed. Everything has a new form, new shape, new appearance, which will be the main one. That's the main one, not this one. when there is dust, when there is fog, that's not the main view and main realities. He says, haven't you heard that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to make this dua? Allahumma arina al-ashya'a kama hi. Yani kama hiya, but we do waqf. Allahumma arina al-ashya'a kama hiya. My Lord, please show us the things as they are. Means as they are in the real world, as they appear to you, as not as they appear to us in a, dusted or clouded world of, dunya. This is what we see. We need to see the other side of them, the malakuti side of them. So he says, whatever we see from these things in dunya is their false face, is not the real face of them. It's false plus it's with hijab, with veil. There is hijab that covers them. In other words, he says, چهره اشیا در حیات دنیوی ما چهره است آمیخته از حق و باطل. The form, the shape of the things in our worldly life is mixed with haq and batil, truth and falsehood. What we see in dunya is their false face. And we are hijab, we suffer from hijab, we are, facing veil before us and the real face. What is available is not real. What is available is with hijab. We see the false face. In other words, a reality has come from heaven and it's mixed with batil. Batil with being mixed with haq can exist. 100% batil cannot exist. 100% batil cannot draw our attention. If we were able to see batil as batil, no one goes after it. So, haq comes, batil mixes with haq, and then presents itself to us. And because the haq, the true side, is hidden, we may fall in trap and accept batil, which is presenting itself with face of haq, as haq. Like the famous Quranic example, when rain comes and flows on the ground, then there will be lots of bubbles. These bubbles are void and they cover the surface. But this is batil. أما الزبد فيذهب جفاء وأما ما ينفع الناس فيمكث في الأرض. Zabad, the bubbles go away, but what is useful for people, what is haq, will remain. So how, unwise, how mistaken it would be to think these bubbles are realities and be heedless of water which is under these bubbles. Without that water, bubbles could not do anything, could not stand and present themselves. But they catch our sight. So this is the way that we would understand the reality of this life when we go to the hereafter, or even in dunya we can have that kind of vision. And also the expressions that we have in the Quran, خلق الله السماوات والأرض بالحق وما خلقنا السماوات والأرض وما بينهما إلا بالحق. All these verses that emphasize on creation of the skies and the earth with full consideration of haq, بالحق. These are all drawing us towards reflection on reality and falsehood, truth and falsehood. Everything which is created, without any exception, has some haq, comes with haq, and we should be able to find that haq and direct ourselves towards that haq. Batil is innal batila kana zahuqa. Batil is going away. Batil cannot remain. Batil even cannot show itself. It was not because of haq. Batil benefits from haq, but presents itself instead of presenting haq. In Surah Ahqaf, verse 3, Allah says, ما خلقنا السماوات والأرض وما بينهما إلا بالحق وأجل مسمى. We have not created the skies and the earth and what is between them except بالحق, truthfully, and again أجل مسمى, deadline. This deadline means that the period of batil presenting itself finishes by coming of the Day of Judgment. In Day of Judgment, haq will be bright, will be clear. Batil has no attraction. Everyone understands haq on the Day of Judgment. People who were mu'min or kafir or munafiq or fasiq or fajir, whatever they were in dunya, on the Day of Judgment find haq very obvious. If you ask anyone, لمن الملك اليوم, everyone would say لله الواحد القهار. Interestingly, on Saturday in Switzerland, we had a talk about union with God and what grows it. I mentioned this point from another perspective. So if you have not yet heard that lecture, please go to that lecture, and it helps you with understanding this point. In Surah Al-Hijr, Ayah 85, وَمَا خَلَقْنَا السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ. Instead of وَأَجَلٍ مُسَمَّى, he says وَإِنَّ السَّاعَةَ لَآتِيَةٌ. Day of Judgment would come. So this chance for batil is only in dunya. On the Day of Judgment, batil has no chance. In Surah Dukhan, verse 39, Allah says that unfortunately many people, or most of people, are not aware of this. وَمَا خَلَقْنَاهُمَا إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَهُمْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Of course, this doesn't have to be the case all the time for humanity. Humanity can change, but the people that were there, and many generations also are similar to them, they didn't know. They didn't have at least yaqeen or knowledge of the fact that the sky and the earth are created bil haq. In the hereafter, as I said, they will know, but the question is, in dunya, they don't know. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has chashme haq bin. His eyes, of course, not physical eyes. can see reality, can see the fact. They can see things as they are. They can see things connected with Allah. They cannot let, they don't let anything to become hijab for them, to distract them from Allah, to direct them away from Allah. Rasulullah, Imams, and awliyaullah, they can see the truth, they can see the realities, they can see the other side of the things. They don't suffer from hijab, they don't buy batil. آنان وقتی به اشیا نگاه می کردند آنها را با چهره حقیقی و صورت حقانی آنها می دیدند. When they looked at things, they were able to look at them through their real side, real aspect, with their real face, with their godly face. And they could see batil just as illusion. They were able to see everything doing tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everything loving Allah, praising Allah, being at the service of Allah. Even non-living beings, those things which from worldly perspective have no life, no understanding, no love, no desire, no tasbih, no hamd. If you look at them from the other aspect, they have love, they have understanding, they clarify, they praise. جهان بظاهر مرده در نظر آنان زنده و دارای شور و شوق و گفت و شنود بود. گفت و شنود. The world which is apparently مرده, dead, stone, sands, water, air. Apparently they are not living, but for them was living and had understanding, had yearning, was able to communicate. So he says, حق همراه را می دیدند نه باطل آمیخته را. They were able to see the reality which was covered for people of dunya by batil. They were able to detach batil from haqq and see the haqq. Everywhere for them was face of God, wajhullah. Everything was mara'i wa majali, means everything was a place to see God and a place of manifestation of God. Wherever they looked at the face of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They were not looking at batil and veils. Quran says, فَأَيْنَمَا تُوَلُّوا فَثَمَّ وَجْهُ اللَّهِ. Wherever you turn, face of God is there. This means that everything, everywhere, every direction, if you manage to penetrate the veil, you can see their real face which is connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You cannot see them without seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's impossible to see them and not see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. با شهود صور حقانی اشیا وجه الله را در آنها می‌بیند. By witnessing the true faces of things, they would see wajhullah in them, face of God in them. هو الأول والآخر والظاهر والباطن. He says, reflect also on this ayah, لا إله إلا هو كل شيء هالك إلا وجهه. There is no one to be worshipped except Allah, everything finishes, expires, except face of God. He says this is not only for akhirah, this is for dunya and akhirah both. Anything other than face of God is finishing, expires, is not going to remain. حقیقت امر این است که همه چیز جز وجه حق حالک است، چه قبل از قیامت و چه در قیامت. Everything other than face of God finishes, or it's we can say, it's not even has not yet even started. It's nothing. It's false. Whether in dunya or akhirah, only face of God is what can be real and what can endure. But it needs eyes which are open and can penetrate hijab. If you can penetrate hijab, then you can see. If you have such an eye, if such a light, then you would see everything is halik. People who have not reached this point or have not even come close to this point, it's very difficult for them not to go for attractions of dunya, not to go for fame or shohra or money or power, etc. But people who are at this level or even close to that, then they see it's just illusion, it's just nothing. They maybe feel very sad, or sometimes maybe they laugh. Depends on considerations. That people fight over these things. People spend decades of life over these things. Life without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what value it has? There's no value. All people praise me. What value it has? If it is not based on reality, if it's not based on virtues, it's not based on face of God. He says, if we have such an eye, such a light, we would see in this world everything is halik, everything is expiring. We would witness face of God, and then we would understand the meaning of this ayah. وَلِلَّهِ الْمَشْرِقُ وَالْمَغْرِبُ فَأَيْنَمَا تُوَلُّوا فَثَمَّ وَجْهُ اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَاسِعٌ عَلِيمٌ. Everything, every direction belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We face Qibla not because Allah is only available in this direction. We face Qibla because we want harmony, unity, and also want to get benefit from Kaaba. But Allah is in every direction. Allah is not only in one point. Allah is everywhere. On the Day of Judgment, this becomes very obvious because hijab goes away. Okay, this is our discussion today. Inshallah, in the next session, we will talk about another topic, another subject for fikr, contemplation, and that is to think about ourselves. Khud, fikr dar khud, to think about yourself, to examine signs of Allah in anfus. We have ayat آفاقی and آیات انفسی. سنریهم آیاتنا فی الآفاق و فی انفسهم. آفاق in horizons means in the external world, but فی انفسهم, inside themselves. So inshallah next session we will talk about this بإذن الله. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
Last paragraph that you read about La ilaha illallah, kullu shayin halik illa wajhah.
Yes.
and then where it says حقیقت همه این است که همه چیز جز وجه حق حالک است. So we've discussed وجه الله, and you've discussed it extensively in your previous discussion as well. But can you kindly expand on, the other side? So when it says everything apart from his face is halik, is kind of perished, right?
Perishable.
Perishing.
Yeah.
Yes. What does it mean? Does it mean it becomes Adam? If something is there already, does it mean it becomes non-existent? Does it mean it doesn't, does it cease to exist? Does it mean it doesn't have the barakah? What is the, how do we explain it? And, and obviously when we say halik is, I don't know whether it was mentioned in this book or not as well, is halik right now, and in the hereafter it becomes apparent that it was halik. If you can just shed some light on that, I would appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Also, we can put this next to other verses. For example, ما عندكم ينفد وما عند الله باق. كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام. So, halik, fanen, yanfad. These show that everything other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and other than what belongs to him or is dedicated to him is temporarily and in a poor way existing. It's temporary because they have no eternity, and it is with poverty, with need. So they rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For a period of time, Allah allows them to exist as independent things. But they are not going to remain like this. Everything then has to go back to Him. Everything then has to become totally dependent. So you have lots of things related to this. For example, one aspect of this that I have mentioned in some lectures is about our a'mal. Eating, drinking, will finish. Traveling, speaking, everything will finish. But if with these actions we have made niyyah of doing something for the sake of Allah, they remain forever. They remain forever. Then it means that something worldly becomes spiritual, something temporary becomes eternal. So, the one who is al-baqi is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anything that is dedicated to Him and accepted by Him can also remain under Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But anything which is not Allah or under Allah cannot remain. Temporarily, they present themselves like a flash. They come and finish. We have to be careful, like Hazrat Ibrahim, when he said, "Inni la uhibbul afilin." I don't want something that would come and go. I don't want something that is like a flash and then sets, has ghurub.
Thank you, Sheikh.
May Allah bless.
So actions can come and go, right? But how about if it's related to something? Does that mean it then doesn't exist? Because everything is at the end of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Whether
It exists, but it's not going to endure. Allah has created them, so they exist. but they are expiring. Fani, yanfad, means they are going to finish. Or Allah says to the Prophet, إِنَّكَ مَيِّتٌ وَإِنَّهُمَ. Even our life is finishing. Haq would never finish. Yeah, Haq is Haq forever. So as much as we are connected with Haq, we are remaining. When we are not with Haq, we finish.
Thank you, Sheikh.
May Allah bless. So if we do anything for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it remains. If anything is done not for Allah, we'll finish. It's be wasted. Many people, worked hard, for years and years, but everything will be finished. But when you do something for Allah, even 1 minute, it's going to remain forever. Imagine, if I want to give you an example, imagine people are, for example, in a place that is going to be demolished by earthquake. They know there's earthquake, they have to evacuate, but there is no enough, transportation to save everyone. So people who are not going to be transported, whatever they have, they give to the people who are going to be saved. Please take this and keep for us. This is, for example, picture of my, mother, father, or this is my letter, This is my book I have written. Please keep it with yourself and save it, because we are all going to die. So it's an analogy. So in the same way, we should give everything to Allah to save for us, because this body and physical life, and if we give our soul to Him, then that's the best way to be saved. May Allah bless you.